Hey, what is going on, BrickSquad? Welcome back to another episode of Building Anaxes in LEGO. Today we have week number 8, and now if you remember, last week we talked about the gunship, the LAATI, that was designed by David Buchholz. Obviously, we have had a review come out of that yesterday. If you guys haven't checked that out, I'll leave a link down below in the description. But that was a really exciting week, and I was very excited to actually bring that video and that mock to you. And last week I did say that that was going to be one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting segment we've had up to date, and well, I'm basically gonna be saying the same exact thing for this week's video, guys. Today we are gonna be talking about the custom LEGO Star Wars ATTE walker that we built on stream a couple of times this week. Once again, designed by David Buchholz and available at brickvault.toys, so check out all the links down below in the description. Now, before we go ahead and get anywhere further, of course, I do want to give a huge thank you to our 2 weekly series sponsors here on the channel for building Anaxes in no particular order. We have Brick Stuff. You guys know they make amazing third-party light-up products for sets. They have custom kits, custom everything. Anything you could want to bring your LEGO mock lighted up is going to be amazing. So use coupon code TBW10, all capital letters TB and W, and then the number 10 at your checkout to save some money and of course support Rob. And our second weekly sponsor is going to be Minifigs for You. You guys know the drill. David has supplied generously the Bad Batch squad for my Anaxes mock, so go ahead and check them all out down below in the description. So this week we have quite an impactful, exciting, very awesome segment, for lack of a better word. This is by far the best segment, the most fun I've had with the mock so far, and hopefully you guys can actually see that from the video. I'm very verbally, very physically, notably excited to show you guys the ATTE. Now, much like the gunship, I will be doing my own separate review, probably coming out later this week, so stay tuned for that. And with that being said, if you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. I think you guys are going to want to stay up to date with this, of course. Click that bell icon to get notified whenever I post, and of course drop a like on the video. Basically, the main portion, obviously outside the walker we have today, is obviously going to be the same sort of thing we talked about with the gunship last week. That's going to be scale. How does the walker scale to the road? How does the walker scale to the base? Obviously making sure that everything is going to be perfect, or as near perfect as we can, before we really make any significant major progress towards building, furthering the road or furthering the buildings, anything like that. So again, the reason why I built these 2 vehicles in the early stages of the mock series, or maybe even towards the first third of the mock series, is so that I can make sure everything is properly proportioned, or at least to the best of my ability. So again, it's going to be a large focus of today's video, talking a lot about how the walker scales to everything we have so far, and obviously going from there. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump on into the time lapse for this week on me live streaming and building the walker. So this week I streamed twice. It was Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday around maybe 7 p.m. and Thursday around 1-ish p.m. early mid-afternoon. And now I did work considerably on the ATTE. I actually didn't get it finished on both streams. That's how large the build was. I was streaming for about 2.5 hours each session, so in the end it probably took maybe about 6.5 hours to actually finish the entire thing. The build's over 2,000 pieces. It comes with PDF instructions, so it's pretty easy to follow. However, there are a couple of frustrating aspects which I will get to later in the video. Of course, I do want to let you guys know, if you aren't a part of the notification squad here on the channel, building these on stream is so much fun. I love chatting with you guys, having a great time, and obviously the bonus for you guys is to see the progress early before the majority of the public sees on these videos. So of course, people who join live stream already have known what the walker looks like, or what at least it should have looked like. So prior to actually setting up the stream, I did sort all the parts so that way it would be as easy as I could make it to find parts and integrate it and be most efficient when it came to actually building this in front of an audience. Obviously being entertaining while streaming is a huge part of it, so I was building and entertaining. Also, huge shout out to my friends. We got Matt, we got Jack, we got John, we got Lee. Their links will all be down below in the description. They're all a part of a very normal squad I have on live streams to help me keep focused or keep chat entertained while I'm focused. So huge thank you to you guys if you're watching this video. Building it on stream in 3 separate times, that's what it took to make this walker. It was super fun. I enjoyed pretty much every single aspect of it, but let's go ahead and jump on into the actual progress and show you guys just what this walker looks like in this week's episode. So ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Here in all of its beautiful glory is the ATTE walker. It is massive, it is amazing, it is beautiful, it is gorgeous, and of course we're going to be talking a lot about the features of this walker. But just to give you guys an overview, again, as I like to start every segment here, here is the entire mock. Obviously it changed the orientation just to give you guys a better view, but we have everything in the front section coming together really well, and obviously this walker just brings in everything together. I cannot be more excited to share with you guys pretty much everything about this walker and why I love it. So first off, let's talk a little bit about scale. One of the noticeable things is I actually had to widen the snot path for the walker. It was actually slightly larger, as you guys can see right there, and the initial road. The initial road was the width of this, but you guys can see the middle legs actually went a little longer, or like wider. So I did have to make some changes, but this is also a good time to actually get a good sense as to what I'm doing with those yellow patterns right here. So if you guys watched last week's segment, you'll know that this is the pattern that's basically going to be going throughout the entire mock. So from start right here all the way to finish in the back of the mock, this design is going to be going along the entire way. Obviously there will be some, like, you know, little inconsistencies and stuff like that just to make it look realistic. But again, this is the idea that we're going for, and this is actually a really good opportunity to get you guys a good view as to what this is going to look like. So again, we have those two designs on the sides with the yellow slopes, and then we have the actual main roadway. Now for the ATTE, I'm actually really surprised. It is actually longer than I thought, which is good, and it's shorter than I thought, which is good. Obviously I don't want the ATTE to be, you know, halfway on the height or more than that. I guess it already is with the turret, but you know what I'm trying to say. I don't want it to be as tall as the watchtower or anything like that. So the scale actually turns out to work perfectly, which is great. Now, I believe this is somewhat close to minifigure scale. I believe the actual canonical ATT can hold like 30 troops, and of course I'll show you guys the interior. But in terms of how the ATT will be used in the mock, in terms of like during the finale, the final product, basically the idea is we have this road going all the way back. We have a starting from here and going all the way back. We're going to have 2 ATTs, and then we're going to have 3 squads of 50 clones. We're basically going to have a clone squad in the front, clone squad in the back, another walker, and then a clone squad behind that. So that's basically the idea for the ATTE and how it's going to be used. And of course, like I said, the scale works perfectly. You guys can see, I'll give you guys a better view actually. So basically this is the entrance area, and you can see there's plenty of room for the ATT to be walking around. It doesn't really get too tight, obviously. The idea is to have the walker coming this way. We have plenty of room. This whole area is basically going to be covered with more snot on both sides, so you guys can expect that to be covered in the next coming weeks. But the walker scale itself looks absolutely fantastic. I think it fits really well. Obviously the gunship's back there, so just to give you guys a little bit of a rough scale, I think it really flows perfectly. The only thing I might consider making the wall slightly higher, but at this point I don't think that's an issue. I think it looks fantastic. So of course, let me know what you guys think of the actual scale of the walker and sort of how that fits in. Of course, like I said before in the video, I will be doing my own review of the walker. I'll actually move this tower out of the way so I don't knock it down, but I will be doing my own review of the walker, giving a more in-depth look. But I do want to highlight a couple of features which I find really interesting about the walker. First things first, obviously it has 6 legs and they're all very posable, which is good. Another thing is the cockpit here does come completely out. It's hard to do with one hand. Obviously I have a camera in my hand, but in there reveals a cockpit. Now I'll be getting accurate pilots and ATTE drivers for the mock when that is done, but in terms of play features, that's just one of the really cool aspects. It just slides right in really easily, which is super cool. Obviously on the top here we have that larger turret. It does pivot 360 degrees, which is really cool, and it does pivot up again, which is super cool. So very nice design, and it looks great. You know, it's a combination of looks great and it really functions great, so that is always a plus in my mind. Obviously I've put a couple of clones around the area beneath it. I just want to give a sense of scale as to how tall this was in terms of the walker and it comparing to a phase 2 clone. Now for some reason this like front leg's been giving me problems. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll try to fix that, but it's not really a large deal. Now another really cool aspect of this walker has got to be the entrances to the walker. Now if you were to think where would the entrance be, you probably wouldn't know. You maybe say, oh, somewhere in the back, maybe somewhere in the front. Well, the designer did a fantastic job basically having everything connect at once and making it a seamless connection like there. So the door just comes out super easy, and there is an interior which we will get into in a second, but we have 2 entrances on either side. So we have one there, and then the same on the other side of the walker. Of course, the front here we do have a couple of turrets and stuff like that. Obviously very accurate to what the walker would actually have in the films. Another really cool feature about this walker is actually going to be the 2 top panels. So basically, like I said, we have the main turret right here, but actually it's not locked in with Technic or anything. It's pure gravity. Obviously it looks very smooth right now, but if you want to see the interior, all you have to do is just lift it up super easy. It makes it really easy to transport this with. Obviously the panels just come off super easy, and inside is revealed a whole really impressive interior. So after some quick math, we have 4 gunners, we have 2 pilots, which is 6, and then we have another 12, so 18. We have room for 18 minifigures in here, at least in terms of seats. And you can see I even squished in an officer there. So then here in the back, we have the 2 gunners on the back turrets, obviously controlling the ones behind there. Then we have rows of 3. We have 3 columns basically of seats that hold 6 total clones, and then we have an officer there. And the same thing goes for here. Now the idea between this whole spine is it articulates, so you can see as I move the walker, the spine itself actually moves as well. So that's a really cool feature about it. Obviously gives it a lot more options when it comes to posability. And here, more shots of the interior. Again, we have 6 clones here. It's a little hard to see in the front section, but then we have the 2 gunners. Hopefully you can see them right over there. So the interior of this walker is absolutely fantastic. It really is amazing. And then again, we have doors on one side here, there, and there. So, and then of course, if you want to put back on the panels, it's super easy. There's like an indent in the front side of this one right here. All you have to do is basically just slide it in right there. And the same thing goes with the back panel. You just have to kind of finesse it right there, and boom, there we go. It is completely done. So like this walker has the modifications and just the customability in terms of taking everything on, taking everything off, putting it all on again. Like, it's just a really easy design, and I think that's where this walker shines the most. Like I said, I'll be doing a full review of this ATTE coming very soon, but I think it really pulls together the entire mock. Like, obviously seeing 2 of these massive things on the massive road in the actual mock, again surrounded by legions of clones, is going to be truly a sight to behold. I mean, this walker just really brings it together. So I think this was a really good choice, going with this version of the ATTE compared to maybe going with Lego's version or anything else like that. Really good despite some of the hardships. Now actually, while I'm on the topic of that, there were a couple of aspects of this build that were really annoying. These 2 front panels right here with the 2 top guns are really annoying to put on, and they're not really secured tightly. I'm not sure if that's an error on behalf of my part or maybe the instructions, but regardless, these 2 front panels were really difficult to get on, and they are difficult to stay on. So obviously, you know, it's a custom model. You're not going to be playing with this like you would a normal playset, but just keep that in mind if you guys do eventually go with the set. These 2 front panels can potentially be an issue. And then the other issue that I've had lately is actually this leg. I don't know why all the other legs are completely safe, completely sturdy, but this one seems to give out for no reason, and I'm not sure if that's maybe like a piece in there is bent, or the rubber piece that I used, you guys might be able to see like a little rubber black piece is used in both of those legs, so maybe that's like loose or something like that. But overall, the only other complaint, like I said, is just going to be those 2 front panels and this 1 leg, but everything else is very sturdy. Regardless, even if you took this leg out of the equation, if it just disappeared, like, this walker would be able to stand on itself, which is pretty incredible. So in terms of like weight support and balance distribution, it's great. You're not gonna have to worry about anything. Obviously, if you go up and punch it, it's gonna fly off your mock and break, but everything else came together really well. But then just taking a look back at what the mock is gonna look like when we have the entire road completed and the walkers behind each other and the 100+ clones, it's gonna be fantastic. Like, I cannot wait to see this thing actually completed. So that is going to be the update, guys. I hope you enjoyed the walker. Obviously, the build was pretty good. I would definitely suggest you guys go ahead and get the walker if you're in the market for looking for one, something like that. But honestly, the walker looks fantastic. I think it fits in with the mock perfectly. There's a perfect amount of space between the 2 front towers and the entrance to have it walk through. And let's go ahead and head on to the outro of today's video. So guys, that is going to bring a close to building Anaxes in LEGO week number 8. I can't be happier with the 2 vehicles we have. Obviously, when building a Clone Wars mock, especially on this scale, I was thinking to myself what I would be using. I went between Rebrickable and a mock shop, all of which have amazing designs for their respective vehicles, but I ultimately decided to go with David and BrickVault's design, and I think it really paid off, and I think the ATTE is actually amazing. Like, it by far is one of the best builds I've ever built. So now let's talk a little bit about the future of the mock, and this is actually going to be really important. So for those of you who have made it through this long to the video, please stick around down for the next minute or so. Going to be explaining a lot of very important details. Now, next week there will not be an Anaxes segment. Next week I'll actually be finishing my Brick Fair Virginia project. It's going to be on display at the Empire League booth, and that'll be the focus for next week. I want to make sure I get everything I can done for that mock. Obviously, Brick Fair Virginia is in like 2 weeks from now, which is crazy. It actually starts exactly 2 weeks from today. But in fact, I'll actually be making the trip down to Virginia a week from tomorrow, so that gives me a week less, if that makes sense. So again, the next week's segment is actually not going to be about Anaxes. It's going to be about the finished product, or maybe even just I guess like an update, I guess, finishing it, and then maybe the following week I'll get a showcase video, stuff like that going for it. But again, no Anaxes update next week. This will also give me a lot of time to finish some Stud.io stuff I've been working on and get some more orders. That way we can get a lot of progress banged out as soon as we get back. But then after we get back from Virginia, I think basically the plan is to finish the actual patterns, like the yellow patterns of the road, and hopefully get as much of the road done as possible. I figured I might as well get that done. That way I know like the exact amount of studs, length and width that I have to work with for the building. So we have most of the parts on hand. I'll probably run out of gray brick at some point building the road, because I just don't have that much on hand. But we'll get as much as that done. Then we obviously have the walls to continue building. Then we obviously have all of the stuff. So we are in a really good spot. But with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, drop a like for that freaking walker, guys. Like, come on. How sick is that thing? Guys, this mock is taking shape. It's taking form. And I cannot be more excited for where this project's taking us. So I hope you guys are all enjoying the process so far. Of course, if you guys have any constructive criticism, comments, definitely put them down below. I always look at the comments, making sure you guys are loving what I'm doing equally. Of course, you guys are an equal part of this ride here on the channel. So thank you all so much for your support, for taking time out of your day to watch the videos. And I will see y'all later. Take it easy. Peace.